Good morning, Year 4. Yesterday in maths, we looked at multiplying on a number line. Today, I'm going to show you how you can use that skill to then divide on a number line. First of all, let's recap. 14 times 6. Draw your line. Just going to partition the 14, 10, 4. I'm going to jump 10 groups of 6, 10 groups of 6. Not 6 times 10, but 10 groups of 6. That means I'm going to land on 60. Now I'm going to do 4 groups of 6. 4 groups of 6. 4 groups of 6 is 24. I was on 60 and I added 24. That means at the end, I'm going to land on 84. So 14 times 6 is 84. Dividing on a number line is the opposite. So I'm going to show you using the same calculation. 14 times 6 is 84. Let's do 84 divided by 6. Now, we should know the answer is already 14 because we've just done 14 times 6 is 84. But on a number line, it's slightly different. So I'm going to draw my, get rid of these black bits. I'm going to draw my number line. I'm going to have 0 here. And I know my whole is 84, so I can put that in there. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to subtract groups of 6. Now, if I keep subtracting 1 times 6, 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 it's going to take me ages. So what I'm going to do is going to put a little fact box up here. So I know that 10 times 6 is 60. That means that 5 times 6 is 30. And 20 times 6 is 120. So I'm going to use, I think the best fact to use here, the one that's closest to 84, is 60. So I'm going to subtract 10 groups of 6. So 10 groups of 6, and I'm subtracting it now. So 84 take away 60 is 24. It's 24 in the 6 times table. 6, 12, 18, 24. It is. It's the 4th multiple. So then, if I subtract 4 groups of 6, that's 24, I land on 0. So my answer is when I add my groups up. So first of all, I subtracted 10 groups, then I subtracted 4 groups. So the answer is 14. So 84 divided into 6 groups means there will be 14 in each group. Let's look at another one. Let's keep dividing by 6. Let's do 102 divided by 6. Step 1, fact box. 10 times 6 is 60. 5 times 6 is 30. And 20 times 6 is 120. Number line. 120 is too big. I think taking away 30 is not going to do much, so I'm going to take away 10 groups of 6 again. So I'm subtracting 10 groups of 6, which is 60. So 102 take away 60. I'm going to count up. 60 to 100 is 40. 2 left over, 42. And now I need to think, right, it's 42 in the 6 times table. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. It's the 7th multiple. So what I can do is subtract 7 times 6, which is 42. And now I've landed on 0. So now it's time to find my answer. So first of all, I took away 10 groups, and then I took away 7 groups. 10 add 7. My answer is 17. And to be honest, I could check that. If I wanted to do 17 times 6, just to double check. Ten times 6. Let's draw my little number line here. 10 groups of 6 is 60. And then 7 groups of 6 is 42. 60 add 42 is 102. So it must be correct. Let's do another one. Always find it very helpful to write my fact box in the corner first. Let's divide by 4 this time. Let's do 96 divided by 4. Right, start with my fact box. 10 times 4 equals 40. 20 times 4 equals 80. 5 times 4 equals 20. Draw my number line. So, which one shall I use first as my starting point? Could use 10 times 4, but if you see 20 times 4 is 80, which is closer to 96. So I'm going to start by subtracting 20 groups of 4 first. So 20 groups of 4. That means I'm subtracting 80. 96 take away 80 is 16. Now I need to think, is 16 in the 4 times table? 4, 8, 12, 16 is. 4 times 4 is 16. Which means if I subtract 4 groups of 4, I land perfectly on 0. So looking at that information, what is my answer? Let's have a look. 20 groups and then 4 groups. My answer is 24. Now, sometimes your whole might be a lot bigger. So I'm going to show you what you can do when that happens. Let's do a big one. 186 divided by 8. Best thing that you can do is to write your facts down. I always like to do 10 times, 5 times, and 20 times. So 10 times 8 is 80. 5 times 8 is 40. 20 times 8 is 160. Number line. Okay, first step. Which fact am I going to start with? I reckon 20 times 8 is 160, which is very close. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to subtract 20 groups of 8, which is 160. 186 take away 160. The difference. Oh no, I've made a mistake. No, ignore that. Ignore everything I just told you. I would have had a remainder in that one. I don't want to do remainders today. Instead, let's do 176 divided by 8. So very quickly, let's do our facts box. 10 times, 5 times, 20 times. 10 times 8, 80. 5 times 8 is 40. 20 times 8 is 160. Draw in my number line. So the best fact to use is 20 times 8. So I'm going to subtract 20 groups of 8, which is 160. 176 take away 160 is 16. So now I need to think, right, is 8 in the 16, sorry, no, it's 16 in the 8 times table. 8, 16. It is, it's the second multiple, which means I can perfectly take away 16. 2 groups of 8, 16, and I land on 0. So my answer, 20 groups. 2 groups of 8 is what I subtracted. Therefore, my answer is 22. And I could check this using my skills from yesterday. I could work out what 22 times 8 is. And if I worked out 22 times 8, my answer would be 176. Right. Challenge 3 today is going to be a little harder because your numbers, your wholes, are going to be a little bit bigger. And it's where you're going to have to use your knowledge of times tables. Example is this. 364 divided by 7. So I want you to look at that and I want you to see if there's any clues in that number to help you with a starting point. Because if we keep taking 70 away, if we keep subtracting 10 groups of 7, it's going to take a long time. We'll get there eventually, but there is an easier way. What multiplication fact for the 7 times table can we use to help us? Let's write them down. 10 times 7 is 70. Now, that's nowhere near 364, so that's not really going to help us. 20 times 7, if I write 20 times 7 down, that's 140. Again, still pretty far away. Let's double this. Let's then do 40 times 7. 40 times 7, 4 times 7 is 28. So 40 times 7 is 280. You can see that I'm getting closer. What about 5 times 7? 50 times 7. 5 times 7 is 35. 50 times 7 is 350. That is pretty close. So I'm going to use that as my starting point. $364. So I'm going to take or subtract 50 groups of 7. Which equals, oops, don't need to put equals, which equals 350. So I'm going to subtract 350. 364, take away 350, 14. Is 14 in the 7 times table? 7, 14. It is, which means I can now subtract 2 groups of 7. And then 14 take away 14 means that I land perfectly on 0. So my answer is 50 groups at 2 groups equals 52. So your challenges today require you all to work out your calculations using a number line, just like this. And for every question, we would like you to show your working out. They do get harder as you go along. So challenge 1, challenge 2, and challenge 3. And this one is an example, challenge 3. As always, good luck.